Keep, therefore, the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. You stand this day, all of you, before Yahweh your Elohim, your heads, your tribes, your zachanim, and your officers, even all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and your foreigner who is in the midst of your camps, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, that you may enter into the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, and into his oath, which Yahweh your Elohim makes with you this day, that he may establish you this day to himself for a people, and that he may be to you an Elohim, as he spoke to you, and as he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Jacob. Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with him who stands here with us this day before Yahweh Elohim, and also with him who is not here with us this day. For you know how we lived in the land of Mitzrayim, and how we came through the midst of the nations through which you passed. And you have seen their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them, lest there should be among you man or woman or family or tribe, whose heart turns away this day from Yahweh our Elohim, to go to serve the Elohims of those nations, lest there should be among you a root that bears gall and wormwood. And it happened, when he hears the words of this curse, that he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have shalom, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, to destroy the moist with the dry. Yahweh will not pardon him, but then the anger of Yahweh and his jealousy will smoke against that man, and all the curse that is written in this book shall lie on him, and Yahweh will blot out his name from under the sky. Yahweh will set him apart to evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that is written in this book of the law. The generation to come, your children who shall rise up after you, and the foreigner who shall come from a far land, shall say, when they see the plagues of that land, and the sicknesses with which Yahweh has made it sick, and that the whole land of it is sulfur, and salt, and a burning, that it is not sown, nor bears, nor any grass grows in, like the overthrow of Sodom and Amorah, Adamah and Zeboim, which Yahweh overthrew in his anger and in his wrath. Even all the nations shall say, why has Yahweh done thus to this land? What means the heat of this great anger? Then men shall say, because they forsook the covenant of Yahweh, the Elohim of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, and went and served other Elohims, and worshipped them, Elohims they didn't know, that he had not given to them. Therefore the anger of Yahweh was kindled against this land, to bring on it all the curse that is written in this book. And Yahweh rooted them out of their land in anger, and in wrath, and in great indignation, and cast them into another land, as at this day. The secret things belong to Yahweh our Elohim, but the things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. It shall happen, when all these things are come on you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations where Yahweh your Elohim has driven you, and shall return to Yahweh your Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command you this day, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your soul, that then Yahweh your Elohim will turn your captivity and have compassion on you, and will return and gather you from all the peoples where Yahweh your Elohim has scattered you. If any of your outcasts are in the uttermost parts of the heavens, from there will Yahweh your Elohim gather you, and from there will he bring you back. And Yahweh your Elohim will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it, and he will do you good, and multiply you above your fathers. Yahweh your Elohim will circumcise your heart, and the heart of your seed, to love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul, that you may live. Yahweh your Elohim will put all these curses on your enemies, and on those who hate you, who persecuted you. You shall return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his mitzvot which I command you this day. Yahweh your Elohim will make you plenteous in all the work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your ground for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers. If you shall obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to keep his mitzvot and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, if you turn to Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul, for this mitzvah which I command you this day, it is not too hard for you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that you should say, Who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it to us, and make us to hear it, that we may do it. Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, Who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it to us, and make us to hear it, that we may do it. But the word is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. Behold, I have set before you this day life and good, and death and evil, and that I command you this day to love Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his mitzvot, and his statutes, and his ordinances, that you may live and multiply, and that Yahweh your Elohim may bless you in the land where you go in to possess it. But if your heart turn away, and you will not hear, but shall be drawn away, and worship other Elohims, and serve them, I denounce to you this day that you shall surely perish. You shall not prolong your days in the land where you pass over the Yarden to go in to possess it. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore choose life, that you may live, you and your seed, to love Yahweh your Elohim, to obey his voice, and to cleave to him. For he is your life, and the length of your days, that you may dwell in the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Jacob, to give them. Moshe went and spoke these words to all Yisrael. He said to them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. And Yahweh has said to me, You shall not go over this Yarden. Yahweh your Elohim, he will go over before you. He will destroy these nations from before you, and you shall dispossess them. And Yeshua, he shall go over before you, as Yahweh has spoken. Yahweh will do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, the kings of the Amorite, and to their land whom he destroyed. Yahweh will deliver them up before you, and you shall do to them according to all the mitzvah which I have commanded you. Be strong and of good courage. Don't be afraid, nor be scared of them, for Yahweh your Elohim, he it is who goes before you. He will not fail you, nor forsake you. Moshe called to Yeshua and said to him in the sight of all Israel, Be strong and of good courage, for you shall go with this people into the land which Yahweh has sworn to their fathers to give them, and you shall cause them to inherit it. Yahweh, he it is who does go before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you, neither forsake you. Don't be afraid, neither be dismayed. Moshe wrote this law and delivered it to the Kohanim, the sons of Levi, who bore the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, and to all the Zachanim of Yisrael. Moshe commanded them, saying, At the end of every 7 years, in the set time of the year of release, in the feast of booths, when all Yisrael is come to appear before Yahweh your Elohim in the place which he shall choose, you shall read this law before all Yisrael in their hearing. Assemble the people, the men and the women, and the little ones, and your foreigner who is within your gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear Yahweh your Elohim, and observe to do all the words of this law, and that their children who have not known may hear, and learn to fear Yahweh your Elohim, as long as you live in the land where you go over the Yarden to possess it. Yahweh said to Moshe, Behold, your days approach that you must die. Call Yeshua, and present yourselves in the tent of meeting, that I may give him a charge. Moshe and Yeshua went and presented themselves in the tent of meeting. Yahweh appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the pillar of cloud stood over the door of the tent. Yahweh said to Moshe, Behold, you shall sleep with your fathers, and this people will rise up and play the prostitute after the strange Elohims of the land where they go to be among them, and will forsake me and break my covenant which I have made with them. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured. And many evils and troubles shall come on them, so that they will say in that day, Haven't these evils come on us, because our Elohim is not among us? I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evil which they shall have worked, and that they are turned to other Elohims. Now therefore, write you this song for you, and teach you it the children of Israel, and put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swore to their fathers, flowing with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten and filled themselves, and grown fat, then will they turn to other Elohims, and serve them, and despise me, and break my covenant. It shall happen, when many evils and troubles are come on them, that this song shall testify before them as a witness, for it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imagination which they frame this day, before I have brought them into the land which I swore. So Moshe wrote this song the same day, and taught it the children of Israel. He gave Yeshua the son of Nun a charge, and said, Be strong and of good courage, for ye shall bring the children of Israel into the land which I swore to them, and I will be with you. It happened, when Moshe had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book until they were finished, that Moshe commanded the Levites who bore the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, saying, Take this book of the law, and put it by the side of the ark of the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, that it may be there for a witness against you. For I know your rebellion and your stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, you have been rebellious against Yahweh. And how much more after my death? Assemble to me all the Zachanim of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death you will utterly corrupt yourselves, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil will happen to you in the latter days, because you will do that which is evil in the sight of Yahweh, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. Moshe spoke in the ears of all the assembly of Israel the words of this song until they were finished.